Good evening. I was asked to be Master of Ceremonies at Testimonial. I looked up Testimonial and it required tuxedos. This is a low-budget operation, I want you to know. So it's turning more into a roast. Now the active ingredients for a roast are Master of Ceremonies, thank you. Some roasters. Can we have the roasters up here, please? Iggy Matalonis, Tom Lazatera, and Phyllis, who's already seated up here. And of course, we need a roastee. Now, the roastee is sitting among you. I'll introduce this person by a quote from a former principal of Black River High School who's now residing in Massachusetts. He said his recommendation to the school board, nice guy, kids like him, he's a townie. But I don't think he knows a hell of a lot about coaching basketball. Earl Washburn, it's you. You're on the pedestal tonight, baby. You're going to take it for a few minutes. We'd like you up front here with your bride so we can get a good shot at you, please, Earl. Oh, that's good. If it's videotaped, they get the best side of him right there. He's done, I know, some other things he's done. But we'd like to get an early picture of Earl's life, and for a few quips of that, we'll have his sister Phyllis. Phil?
Good evening, alumni and friends. I'm proud to be here sharing this evening with my brother. It was about approximately 30 years ago, when I graduated from high school in 1956, that the Black River High School presidents took the state tournament too. They also won in the 70s, and Earl brought them through in the 80s. So we thank you for that. My brother. When he was a baby, we called him EJ. That was short for Earl Joseph. When he was a little boy, we called him Bud. And now I guess he's known to most of you as the Earl of Ludlow. He wasn't a very good sport, though. And I guess that's because he had 4 sisters that came before him. He was a little brat. He always got his own way. When he didn't, he took his bat and ball and went home. Some of the things that flashed through my mind is the time that he was walking through the living room and Noreen pulled his pajamas down in front of everybody. We were playing Cowboys and Indians. He threw a gun at me and he knocked my tooth out. He played basketball though, you guys. He was little. In fact, his wife Joyce says he's still little. Speaking of Joyce, you know when they got married, they had both been keeping a secret from each other. And Joyce's secret was that she had awful stinking feet. And Earl had bad breath. Well, they got to the motel that night, and Joyce made a beeline for the bathroom, and she was washing her feet, and she said, hey, this is really silly. I love Earl, and I know he loves me, and I guess he can put up with a few things that are bad about me, my stinking feet. And so she walked out of the bathroom, and just as soon as she stepped out the door, Earl ran in. And he was starting to brush his teeth, and he looked in the mirror, and he said, this is silly. He says, I know I love Joyce, and she loves me. I guess she can put up with a few bad things about me. So he came out and he got in bed with her, and Joyce says, honey, I've got a confession to make. And he says, well, honey, he gave her a peck on the lips, and he says, I got something to tell you first. She said, oh my God, you ate my dirty socks. Well, I'm going to look into the future for a minute here. And Stan Furkey and Tom Lazatera and Iggy and Earl all entered heaven at the same time. This is what's coming up. Same day they entered heaven, and St. Peter was there and greeted them all. And he had a little list here, and he said, Stan Furkey? And Stan says, yes, sir. St. Peter said, follow me. He brought him to a room, opened the door, Stan walked in, it was all dark. St. Peter shut the door, slammed it, locked it, and these iron gates came down. across the room, there was this lady. She was just sick. She had open, pussy pores all over her. She just dripping all these sores all over her body. Her hair had maggots in it. And a big voice came and said, "You are doomed to eternity to make love to this woman." So he came back, "Tom Lazzatero." Tom says, "I'm right here." And he was really sweating it. He knew what had happened to Stan. So he came, opened the door, went into the room, and there was a lady. First of all, the gates, sharp, slam, iron bars. There was a lady all covered with snakes in a snake pit, had green slime all over her hair. This great big voice boomed out, "You are doomed for eternity to make love to this woman." St. Peter came back, said, "Okay, Earl Washburn." Earl stepped right up, followed St. Peter, came to a room, opened the door, slammed the door, locked them. The bars came down. There was nothing there. All of a sudden, the door on the other side opened. Vanna White came in. Door slammed, and the gates came down, and the voice said, "Vanna White, you are doomed for eternity." Now, I'll bet you thought that I forgot Iggy, but I didn't. St. Peter sent him to hell. Here's a little poem I wrote about my brother, because we all love him a lot, and we know what he's accomplished through the years. He's been in music, and he's been in sports in the town. Earl has a gift to stay young at heart, to teach his boys well. They're pals from the start. He challenges his team to stay strong till they're done. Be brave if they've lost, and stay meek if they've won. You reap what you earn, he said. Give it your best. You'll never regret the toil and the stress. He's given us all memories now, victory, fame, and pride. And as we leave here tonight, they'll stay there inside. And so as I bring this poem to an end, I hope you'll remember my brother, my friend. Thank you.
Earl is quite an accomplished musician, and he directs the community band. Community band is not an easy group to work with. They're my age, some are older than I, Luke, for example. But we do try his patience. And one evening, Earl, I don't know if you remember it or not, but you got sort of distressed with us and threw your baton up. I told you this is a low-budget operation. I'm sorry for the Christmas wrapping. With the help of Dick Jocelyn, we retrieved your baton and the ceiling tile is stuck in. Here you go. And the next roaster, remember these are all friends of Earl, and we're not going to tell you any lies about the guy at all. We're all very good friends. Very good friend, Iggy Manalonis. Iggy?
Really cheap, brown bag. Keep it short. Son of a bitch has got a 1 hour rebuttal. And you know how he likes to talk, so. But all I can say to you now is move over, Gerdak stepping in. We do have 3 girls here from that championship team that should be recognized too. Hate to hell take it away from Earl the boys, but 3 girls could stand up about now. 3 ball players?
Go for it. Come on.
Everybody asked you, when did you first know Earl? I said, Jesus, I didn't know Earl. I knew Grandpa Joe. You know, a lot of people here knew Grandpa Joe. Back in our days, you want to play basketball, you go see Grandpa Joe. And Pop Graves, he'd let you in the town hall. He'd keep track of you. I still didn't know Earl. I knew Phyllis, Jesus Christ, she was one of the best cheerleaders we ever saw. Still didn't know Earl. He came later. He played basketball. Tell you ball players over there what he did to get his letter. Back in our days, you'd have to play so many quarters or you wouldn't get a letter. But if you were injured, you'd sit on the bench, you get a letter. I never knew of anybody who stepped in front of a goddamn car like he did, so he'd get his letter. George Benson was out for that one too. But then we go back and we think of Earl having a lovely teenage daughter, and you try to call him up. You can't blame the teenage daughter, you can't blame the teenage son, you can't even blame Matt who lived with him. If anybody tries up a telephone, it's Earl. 95% of the time you call, you can't get him. And then you see him the next day. What are you doing, Earl? How come you're on the phone? Keeping track of his ball players. Curfew every night. He took one out of Thurber's books. And that one thing I will thank him for. He did a good job on that. Did a hell of a good job. But some of them don't agree. Some of the parents don't agree, but that's all right. But I've met Earl and worked with him in Masons. Worked with him in Lions Club. Not really in the Lions Club, but I met him in that. Worked with him on the school board. I've helped him throughout the other years. But all of you kids that are in here think that that baseball diamond down here, they got those dugouts because of Earl. Go to hell. I got kicked out of the Lions Club because we stood up and made a motion to get $500 for the dugout. I'm being harassed in the Masons because we stood up. We made a motion to give $500. Those weren't for the kids. Those dugouts were for Earl. Jesus Christ. He really gave it to us, but he still delegates. And it was only about a couple weeks ago he said, Biggie, can you do a Masonic funeral for me? I'm going to be busy. He was busy playing golf. Jesus Christ, he don't stand a chance. I mean, he's going to get a good man for a delegation, he's going to give it to you. But you look down at Burr and Burton, they had some championship years too. They imported players. And we all regretted that, and we watched them, they bring their buses over here. So Earl took a book out of the Manchester thing. He imported Matt, moved him right inside the house. He said, bullshit. He said, he ain't going to get away with me this year. You go to extremes.
That's coaching move by
The best thing you ever did, but I've got a couple of little things here for him. Like I said, brown bag. I thought he could take some of that food home, but they won't let me. This is so you can give the kids back their trophies and get them the hell out of your house. This is for proudest punch. Earl Washburn. Even Joe Gerdak used that today. Still got to get this done in a few minutes, so I'm going to sign off. And one last thing I've got for Earl. Now, next year, he's going to play hell bringing up the victories like he did last year. But if he tries hard, and he really works at it, I got something else for him here. I'll let you take it out of the bag. And if you use that, next year, I can guarantee you that you'll have another championship.
Red Hour back cigar.
Thanks, buddy. Earl and I were in Rotary together, spent quite a few years in Rotary, in fact, and he was sort of keeping the pace of the meetings going. The year I took over as president, I asked Earl to kind of help me with the club and kind of get the feel of the club, get the opinion of some of the members, and it sort of ended up as a joke that Earl would be taking polls every time he turned around. Well, I could easily see that women were going to be admitted to Rotary someday, and I thought it would be nice if Ludlow had the first woman in Rotary. So Earl took a poll. And it was quite favorable, we thought, brought it before the General Assembly, and it failed, and the membership did not vote for it. Now, quite coincidentally, this week, I received this in the mail. Dear Earl, I am proud to be one of the first lady Rotarians. How can I ever repay you? I understand I owe it all to your poll. Love always, Emmy Lou. I haven't seen this yet, so I will take the privilege of opening it up for Earl, of course. There she is, Emmy Lou, first Rotarian. So to top off our evening, another good friend, seeing some of the other things that Earl has done, Tom Weiselter.
I'm sure you're a little nervous, Earl. you know, because they saved me for last. But I promised that I wouldn't get you in trouble with the family, I wouldn't tarnish your image, some of your ball players. But I do think, you know, that over the years, Earl and I have done lots and lots of things together. We've traveled to places away from Ludlow to play golf. And as Earl and I always had a pact, what we do here, what we say here will stay here. So I'm going to leave it that way, Earl. The other thing I want you to know, Joyce, was the money we spent in Myrtle Beach that year was not because the prices went up. Earl, I have to be careful tonight because Earl is, and I want to share this with you, Earl's treading on thin ground today. As late as this morning, I called Earl and I said, Earl, before you go to the banquet, I guess your class is having a little get-together. Let's play golf. I meant to call Earl to ask him to play golf. I called and Joyce answered. And I said, do you think Earl would like to play golf? And she said, Tom, I'm sure you won't have to twist his arm. And I said, no, I don't think so. I said, I understand he hasn't had a chance to use his new club. She said, new clubs? I said, yeah. I said, he just got a new set of clubs. She didn't even know it. But I don't think, I think everything's okay. She hasn't said much. In fact, they haven't spoke since early this morning. And when we finished playing, Earl wanted to buy a bag, a new golf bag. And I talked him out of it. I said, Earl, I think today's Alumni Day and you ought to enjoy yourself. So don't spoil it by buying a bag. So he didn't. So Earl, until Father's Day, why don't you carry your club to this? I'm going to try to take you back a little ways. I'd like to do this kind of chronologically. Earl and I used to play golf early in the morning, and we used to play with, what's the guy's name? He's a superintendent here, Hody Pearl. And Hody was a prankster, and Earl and I couldn't play very well, still can't. And every time he'd hit a ball on the green, Hody would walk up and step on it. And Earl said to me, we played 6 holes, and Earl said to me, if he does that one more time, pal, I'm going to root him right in the rear. Smoke was coming right out of Earl's ears, and that was before he got electrocuted and got that haircut that he's got today. We got on the 7th hole, and Earl teed his ball up, and he hit a tree, and his second shot was farther back than where he originally drove from. Well, I found the tee, Earl, that you used. And I've hunted for a long, long time. And it wasn't only until this week I also found the ball. And I don't know which came first. And it really doesn't make a lot of difference whether it was the basketball game or town meeting. But there's 2 things this year that I'd like to share with you that I think shows the real Earl of Pearl. And I guess I'll talk about the basketball game. You know, the buzzer went off, everyone in Ludlow was excited, kids were excited, we're all trying to get over to congratulate the real winners, the kids. Because they executed, they did everything Earl asked them to do. But all at once, we looked around, and here's this thing floating around. You could see daylight under his feet. His hair, look how frizzy it is now. It was worse than this. So what I've done, Earl, and this is sand, this isn't what you think it is. He's going to coach American Legion baseball this year. And just in case, Earl, put that in your back pocket and keep your feet anchored to the ground. The other thing that I think really shows Earl is, as you all know, this year Earl stood up at town meeting.
You did too.
Well, that's right, Iggy, I did too, but what I saw, I had the best seat in town because Bud had just told me to sit down and shut up. So I was able to watch Earl perform. I didn't think Earl had a Chinaman's chance of putting all the lights, the resod the field, and all the things that the town allotted the money for. But as I say, I was sitting down because Bud McDonald had just told me to get down and stay down. I looked out across the crowd, and there was tears in their eyes. I mean, Earl didn't let up. And I said, well, you know, maybe he's going to talk like he does to the boys in the locker room. But he really poured it on. He poured his heart out. And there was people there with just tears in their eyes, streaming down their face. They couldn't say no to Earl. So Earl, if you ever do this again, hand these out first, okay? Earl, we've tried to roast you a little tonight without hurting you. We really want you to be able to go home, stinking feet, bad breath, whatever, do your thing. But the last thing I do want to say is I think Ludlow, Black River High School specifically, is very, very fortunate to have a young man today, because if you look around in other communities, there are not many young people of Earl's age that are willing to spend the time and the dedication that Earl has put in. This isn't something new. Earl has always done this. I think the boys that played ball for Earl can remember when Earl had a JV team. I think you won one ball game that year. It wasn't easy, but Earl didn't stop. Earl had a mission. The boys had a mission. And I think the town of Ludlow can be very proud to have an individual like Earl Washburn to lead you boys and be part of the school system. For that, Earl, we want to thank you very much.
It's quite customary at a roast to allow the roastee, if you will, a few words. Now, I don't know how many meetings you've been to asking almost the impossible for Earl to say a few words, but Earl, there are wires under this mat. The switch is back there, so I'm going to allow you a few words. Ladies and gentlemen, Earl Washburn.
I'm gonna pull a fast one on you, Stan, and move the mic over here so I don't have to be stopped as soon. I don't think I got words that can explain what I feel today. It was unexpected, certainly, and very much appreciated. The honors that I got are due to kids. I didn't play the basketball game. I didn't play the season. The kids did, and they did one hell of a job. It brings back the memories of my school days when the Thurbermen were in town, and we used to win basketball games on a regular basis. And to point that out most dearly was the game against Fairhaven, because not since 62 and 61 and 56 have the basketball gym been filled like it was this year. Time's up. That game, we had people sitting on the stage, standing in the exit doors, and it was just unbelievable. And when I went out there, just before the presidents took the floor and saw the crowd, I said to myself, oh God, let us do good tonight. I didn't really care if we won or lost the game. I just, I didn't want it to be an embarrassment. And they didn't fail me. These guys didn't fail me all year. We won that game by 4 points over a Division II school. And it was their first defeat of the season. And that game was indicative of our whole season. And the championship is something that I'm going to take to my grave with me. I'm going to remember it and cherish it forever. It's something that beyond the boys, beyond Coach Washburn, beyond Black River High School, it did one thing. It brought Ludlow, the community, back together. All of a sudden, people forgot there was flatlanders in town. People forgot there were condominium developments on the mountain. People forgot their petty differences with their neighbor. They rose as one. They joined hands and cheered us on to victory. I think the night that we won the championship, there wasn't too many people left in town. They were all up there watching these boys perform. And when we got back to town, God knows they didn't sleep because we had one hell of a parade. But what I've got here today and some of these things I've done, it's not because of me. It's because of a lot of good support from the Iggies, from the Tommies, from the Stans, and from the kids in my band, the community band. That's not Earl Washburn. That's the people that do the work there. And my hats are off to them. And they have put me up here. I want to say one more thing before I leave. We have some very nice pictures of our championship team up here on the table, and I wish you all would go around and take a look at them. And on this team we had 7 seniors, and I want to recognize those fellows now. Otis Nelson. Stay up, Otis, would you please? Greg Quitlife. Greg is the first player in Black River High School history to achieve the 1,000 career-point plateau, and he did it in a game which also was in historic significance for Black River. We scored 108 points against a Green Mountain club, and that was the most points ever scored by a Black River team. So Greg. Matt is, like I said, probably the best coaching move I did was take Matt into my home this year to live with me. Matt is a second player in Black River High School history to reach the 1,000 point career, and he did it on a night that we scored 99 points against a team from Whitingham. Matt. Pete Luda. Pete's father, everybody remember Greg, is one of the best high school players of his era from Black River. And he, Peter did not let Ray down because Pete was the same type of player, a very, very generous player, a good shooter, and a very generous passer too. And he was an excellent guard for us, Pete. And we have Sean Trainer. Sean was our point forward. That's a new expression in basketball. He played forward on defense, and he played point guard, or point forward. He ran the club on offense, and Sean had the game of his life in the championship game. He ran that club just the way any coach would want it done. Sean had a propensity during the season to have turnovers. Because a guard in his position will turn the ball over. He's handling it most of the time. He had 2 turnovers in the state championship game, and he did just an excellent job. Is that all the players that are here? That's it. This is your 1987 Division IV basketball champion, seniors. And I'm not going to forget the girls that went to the state finals today. Pam and Kirsten and Raylyn, would you stand up, please? I had a little talk with these girls last night because of, stand up, please. I was unable to make the game today because of obligations to my class and their reunion, and I was the happiest guy in town when I found out that they had won. Raylyn is a pitcher, and Raylyn, I coached Raylyn last year on a fill-in basis at the state quarterfinals, which we lost. And she did a whale of a job up there. But I know this year she's carried the team on her back with her fine pitching, and Pam and Kirsten also have pitched in with their hitting and their fielding very well. And I want to tell you girls, you've done the same thing that we did this winter. And I do thank Joe. He's going to take the monkey off my back now. They can go bother him for a while. We're going to get you some championship jackets, and congratulations to you. We had a little saying in our basketball club, and I'm almost done, Stanley. You can punch the buzzer. And I just wanted to leave you with this. I'm a cryptogram junkie. Every morning in the Rutland Herald, I do the crypto quotes. One morning in January, after we had suffered our second defeat, lo and behold, they have little sayings in there, and sometimes they hit home pretty fine. This little saying was on there. To accomplish great things, we must not only act, but also dream. Not only plan, but also believe. And it sort of struck home. That's a good little saying. So I wrote it out and I put it on our locker room door. And I think the boys did just that. They believed in their plan and they acted on their dreams. And they brought Black River a championship. And for them, I thank you very much, guys. You gave me something I'll cherish forever. Really. You're a great bunch of kids, the whole class there. A great class. And let's all get behind them. Any kid. I don't care who they are. There's no bad kids in this world. If you don't believe me, ask Tom Seaford, Mrs. Toffrey, Mr. Pullman. They know. They know the real kids. And they're all good. So let's all get behind them. They need our support. And that's just what I'm trying to do. Thank you very much.
I want to thank you very much for listening to our roast. There is one other person we must recognize. There is one other champion in the room that deserves a lot of praise, trophies, pictures, and they stand in the limelight. When you've got an Earl in the family, you don't get too much of the limelight. But there's, behind every man, I'm told, daily, there is a good woman. Joyce, stand up because you deserve a lot of this. Joyce,
I want to thank the roasters, and we hope you enjoyed that little special program. I want to remind you, before the closing, we'll be singing our